task complete. And let's take a look at this real quick. And some quarters only. I need to stop and get some air in the tires. I don't have all the change I need, so that's all we got. A little bit farther down the road here. So, alright, getting back to where I was at. So I reread this letter as I had just attached it into the body of the email. I had spent my day mostly in this heightened state that I would consider that I have the ability to access. And I've run into this several times before. When I get inspired to actually sit down and write, and it's a pretty time-consuming process, I do reach this higher state of mind. That's the only way I can describe it. And when I'm writing, I feel like the words are, I mean, it's not complete until I read it and I'm like, wow, that is exactly what, the words on this page completely encapsulate what I was trying to convey. It covers the emotion that's involved in it. I'm like, this is it. And then I publish it. And that's great. But then I'll go back and I'll read it at another time. Sometimes it's a day later, a couple days later, maybe a year later. And I'm not in that state, and I'm reading it and it doesn't make any sense to me. Or I'm reading it and I'm like, this is just too far out of whack for others to really understand. They would have to almost be in that heightened state. And there's just a lack of ability to interpret and understand. It's still good, I mean, it still has, but it doesn't have the impact that I intended it to have when I wrote it. And I was reading this letter back and I was like, this really sounds crazy. I was back into, again, Jason the property manager. I was basically unplugged from that state and gotten back into, money, finances, and people's problems, and joy and happiness and pain and suffering, and the normal everyday base routines that we all are subject to. And I was like, I cannot send this. And then all of a sudden I was devastated because I had worked on this all day, and then I'm looking at this and I'm like, what I was looking at when I wrote it and finished it and saved it off and decided that later in the day I'm going to send this off, and what I was experiencing when I was reading it then was, I mean, there was a huge deficit in the impact, and I was like, I wasted my whole day working on this and I have nothing to show for it. And I started to try and tweak it. I started removing lines and shifting, sentences from one paragraph to another to regroup the terms, and it ended up getting to be, it was after 5, and Rhonda's like, we need to go. I told Morgan we'd take her to work, so I'm like, all right, well, I have to put this down, and I don't want to. It's not complete. It's unfinished business. This is going to bother me leaving this like this. And any unfinished business has the ability to cause that anxiety and stress for me. It just, I don't like unfinished business, unfinished tasks. So I left, and I was in a pretty peaceful, very grounded, very uplifted place all day long, and then now all of a sudden I'm in this place of anger and fear and frustration and hostility, and I was trying to fight it. I was trying not to let it overtake me, but it just kept creeping up on me, and it was, as we were driving home, and I'm like, you know what, I'm probably going to stay. I was planning on just riding with, picking Morgan up, dropping her off, and doing whatever, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to have to just stay home and try to calm myself. I knew I wanted to work out. I hadn't played a game of chess in a couple of days, and I was thinking I wanted to do that, and this person's driving so fucking slow. I'm going to miss this light, and they're going to run the red light. So we got home, I went inside and I changed, I let the dog out, and I just tried to embrace my post-work daily routine to try and get, it helps me reboot, it helps me ground myself, helps me find balance. And I was like, well, maybe I'll play a game of chess. And I hadn't played in a couple of days, and the last game I played I lost, and I haven't lost one since probably the first day or two that I started playing. And when I first opened that app and started playing, the first game I played at the default setting that came in. It was like level 20, and I lost bad, very quickly, very easily. And I tried to play again, thinking, oh, I'm just rusty, I haven't played it. And again, I just boom, was annihilated. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to lower the level and play this again. So I lowered it to like 10. And again, boom, I lost like that. I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to go all the way back to the basics, it looks like, and start on the very lowest level. And I gave one more step, I went down to 5, and I lost. It took a little longer, but I lost. So I was like, all right, level 1, we're starting at the beginning. I'm going to play on level 1. And I was playing on level 1 for a week or was a bit of guilt that I had spent so much time working on that letter, and my work didn't suffer from it. There was nothing that I should have done or could have done at the office that didn't get done, but I felt like I spent an unusually high amount of time working on this letter, and so I'm feeling a little bit of guilt, which is adding to my anger and my frustration, and I'm feeling the anger and frustration of generating this letter that I thought was everything I wanted it to be, and then it was not. So a lot of different conflicting feelings and emotions and thoughts going through my head. Plus, Rhonda was taking Morgan to work, and I knew there was a possibility she was going to have to be picked up after 10 o'clock, and I did not like the idea of either of us having to go out after 10. So there's just a lot of things going on, but I'm like, you know what, I'm going to sit down. I didn't know if I would even be able to concentrate. I was having a flashback of a few nights before when I was not completely focused on the game and I lost, and I didn't want, why participate in something? Why be involved in an activity if you're not 100% into it? You're just not getting the benefit of it. Why waste your time? And it's part of that all or nothing mentality that I've had in my life that I've been working to basically get out of, but it's still that the concept is there. If you're going to do something, do it right. And so I sat down, and I didn't think I would be able to focus on what was going on the game, and I stuck to the basics, what I know and my approach and to playing, and I started playing, and we got to the point of exchanging pieces, and it was an even exchange, and I felt good about it. My strategy had worked. I had put myself in a situation that if I was going to lose something, I was going to gain something, and it was a trade-off every time, and it was a trade-off that I felt like I was getting the better end of. Granted, I'm still playing at level 2 out of 100 levels, but the basics were there. I felt good about the basics, and it was a game like I hadn't played on there yet. It was a pretty even trade of pieces, and a lot of exchanges, a lot of you take this, I take this, I take this, you take this, and I was a little nervous that I was not going to, because of how many pieces I was losing and sacrificing, but it was sacrifice in order to gain something that I might not win. But all of a sudden, I was looking at the board, and the way I had ended up setting it up put me in a position that I was going to win. Everything was covered, so it was a little uncertain there during that exchange that my strategy might not pay off, but it did, and I won, and I won really without even knowing it. I'm looking at the board. I'm like, all right, if I make this move here, I will put the computer in check, and I should be able to move to checkmate shortly. One move or another move after that. I didn't even realize that move that I made was checkmate. It popped up on the screen, checkmate, and I was like, really? I had to go back and look at it to see what I had missed, and but I won, and I felt good. It gave me a good feeling, and it gave me a sense of satisfaction, of accomplishment, and slowly some of that anger and tension from the day dissipated, which was good. It's what I was hoping for. And I felt, again, a little rejuvenated, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go work out now. I got out into the garage and turned the lights on and turned the music on and got myself ready to do that, and I was punching the bag, and I felt like my punches were solid. I felt like, every day that I go out there and I hit the bag, the skin on my knuckles toughens up just a little bit more. My wrists get a little bit stronger from the impact, and they're just a little bit more solid and stable, and I'm able to throw punches just a little bit harder and not feel like I'm damaging or hurting or straining the ligaments in my joints. And I feel like my transfer of ki is more powerful. I'm hearing the sound of the impact on the bag, and every day I just feel like I'm stronger, and it requires a sense of clarity to be able to hit that point. And I just finished the work on this house. Looks like maybe they're doing their final vendor walkthrough. So I don't like to be in there when they're in there, so I'm just going to wait this out a second here. Good, no emails of any importance. So anyway, and I went out and I've been alternating, just using body resistance during my workout, push-ups and sit-ups and leg lifts and crunches and things like that, and the weights. And then I've been throwing in a little more cardio than I had been. But I feel like I'm in a good spot of balance there, but I decided I was going to do weights, and I was going to go a little bit heavy. And I did, and I felt like my strength was just as high or higher than it had ever been. I felt like my joints were handling it better. I didn't feel as much pain in my shoulders and elbows when I was doing bench press, and it was good. I had a good, solid workout, but I was still feeling just a little bit edgy. Rhonda came home, I was feeling unsettled. I'm like, what are we going to have for dinner? I was already hungry. I didn't feel like cooking, but I wanted to go out, and I didn't know where I wanted to go, and didn't know what she was going to want, and so I was just really unsettled, and I just started doing odds and ends. I started washing some dishes. I started, just little things to occupy my mind. We started watching TV, had a couple of drinks, and then we found out that Morgan was going to get a ride home, so we were free then to drink whatever we wanted and not feel like we were going to have to be, conservative because we might have to drive. And but I still felt this feeling I just could not shake. I felt much better than I did, but there was still something deep inside of me that was gnawing away. And anytime I'm in that mood, alcohol consumption usually has a negative side effect. It was pretty much as I expected. I woke up this morning and I felt just a little off. Just my stomach was upset a little bit. I felt this feeling, and I'm familiar with it. And it's the state of mind that I was in when I was consuming alcohol. Was not the best state of mind I could have been in, and it creates this negative side effect. The good thing was I was able to clear it pretty quick this morning. I got up, I got moving, I went through my normal routine. We got into the office, I drank my teas, and had my taco, and then I felt good. And in the meantime, I pulled that letter up, which I was going to I brought it up thinking I'm just going to erase it and scrap the idea of even sending it. And I started reading it, and it had more meaning, and it was the edited version. I had already removed some sentences, some paragraphs, and rearranged some things, and I was rereading it, and I was like, this isn't bad. I just want to tweak it a little bit more. So there was a few things that had popped into my mind last night and today, thoughts, feelings, emotions, inspirations, and I tweaked it, and I sent it, and I felt good about sending it. So I'm looking forward to some type of response from Tiffany. Hopefully she reads it and is able to get out of it what it was intended to give, and I feel good. I feel much better, and feel like I weathered a little bit of a storm yesterday, and in the process gained some context, some depth, some understanding to some of my ups and downs. It definitely gave me some perspective on how to continue to write this book. So very happy with where I'm at right now and what's going on, and I'm going to leave this right in this spot, and I'm going to go take care of what I need to take care of in this house. And head back to the office.